So Jason asked earlier today, what is a bad culture in college football? Example, it was said that Texas has had a bad culture for a while. And they have, to be clear, they have. This is a good question though, Jason, because a lot of people stop there. A lot of people stop and they say, they got culture problems. What do you mean? Well, it's just rotten there. What does that mean? Well, it's just not good vibes. Okay, are we just going to stay arbitrary? Or are we going to nail down some specific reasons? So here's what I mean. Anyone else can mean what they mean. When I tell you Texas, for example, when we say Texas has had culture issues, to me it's like this. If you've ever been driving a car, this happens a lot in rental cars, for example, you drive it, you back it down the driveway, you pull it out of the parking lot, and it looks like it should, and everything's filled out on the paper. Something's not right though. And then you look down and you realize, oh, I got the e-brake on. That has been Texas football. That's been any kind of program that's trying to operate with a bad culture around it. It looks like it should. That logo looks great, that stadium looks great, and everything looks immaculate, but there's just not something right on the inside. Now, when you're driving a car, it's as easy as releasing the e-brake. When you're running a football program, you don't get that way overnight, and you don't get yourself out of being that way overnight, but culture problems oftentimes pop up when you have the necessary evil of big money people being around your program, whose only merit to be around your program lies in their net worth. Steve Sarkisian's at Texas because he is a brilliant offensive mind. Harry Booster over here is around Texas because his uncle handed him an oil fortune, and he donates a disproportionate amount per year to the University of Texas, and he is asked in exchange to be given access to practice, and he wants to know what's happening at the quarterback position at least 24 hours before the Austin Statesman does. That's not a good thing. But here's the problem. It's tough to turn that kind of money down. You need it. When you're going to build like they build, when you're going to recruit like they recruit, when you're going to market like they market, that stuff's not done pro bono. You got to pay a lot of money to be able to sit on the kind of throne that Texas athletics sits on. It is such a balancing act. And the bigger the program, the harder the balancing act is. This is why the model that you want to try and follow is, of course, exhibited by Nick Saban at Alabama. Because Alabama was Texas football. Alabama had the exact same problems that Texas has had for a little while. You had people who had no business being within a 100-foot pole's reach of that football program with direct access to it because of either relationships they had or last names they had or paychecks that they were willing to write in exchange for access. And Alabama for a long time was mired in mediocrity because of that, just like Texas has been. Now here is what Alabama did. Alabama went and hired Nick Saban. Here's what Nick Saban did. He walked in and understood, I've got maximum leverage because my name's Nick Saban. And so these people begged me to take this job, and I turned it down, and then they begged me again, and I took it, and I am at this point the highest paid coach in college football, but I'm going to run everything. And I have full autonomy, and I have full leverage to do so. So Saban walked in the door. There are famous stories at this point around Alabama about this. And Nick Saban did a healthy inventory of the program and then the sort of layers around the program, and he realized why Alabama had been what Alabama had been recently. And in no uncertain terms, once he got his lay of the land, Nick Saban let it be known. I don't care if he, her, and him, I don't care how much they're worth, it's going to be an either-or situation. You can either have them maintain their stature around here, or you can have me. But if you have me, they're gone. And guess what Alabama did? They said the net result of us giving this man what he wants will increase our financial windfall 10 times more than any check these folks can ever write. And so they read the riot act to a lot of influential boosters and big money people around the University of Alabama. You been to Tuscaloosa lately? Have you compared it? Do a side-by-side. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 2006, 2022. Check it out and see what kind of impact that guy's had. Texas has got to do the same thing. Here's the difference. There are not many Nick Sabans out there. There are not many people who walk in and can swing their shoulders like that. And Charlie Strong wasn't that guy, unfortunately. Steve Sarkisian is probably not that guy. We can all hope that it's different. Obviously, Tom Herman was not that guy. And what the bad part is you got to hope that the people involved in the hiring process are looking for that guy. See, Alabama was looking for that. Mal Moore was actively looking for that. You can never know. Is Texas really looking for that? Or is there enough influence over on the other side of the table at Texas to where they're just looking for another guy that they can attach strings to the shoulders of and can control? I'm not making that accusation. I'm telling you, if you're a Texas fan, you got to be hoping against that. And so we're in that whole remains to be seen holding pattern with Steve Sarkisian. But that is really at the core what I mean when I say you got a culture problem.